welcome back again to the show, and we're moving on to our last trending story. Our guest is still in the studio, and our last trending story, which is trending on social media space, is the last man standing. And of course, our guest is here to tell us the scoop and the gist of what is happening. I know it's a movie. Has it been released? Is it out, or are we still expecting it?
Yeah, the movie is going to be premiered in the first weekend of May.
Okay.
It is the biopic of the president-elect, and it's titled Last Man Standing.
Okay.
It was shot this time last year, and it took time to come out because if you notice, it's been a crazy period for politicians, and we wanted the man to be at the premiere. So that's why we waited this long. And the premiere holds, by the grace of God, in Abuja on May 7 at Transcorp.
Okay.
So it's a biopic.
Yeah, it is a biopic.
And although we know that biopics talk about the life and times, but can you give us like insights into what to expect from this Last Man Standing?
You know that when you do a biopic, you can take different parts of a person's life. This is a story about how he ruled Lagos as governor of Lagos.
Okay.
How he survived being the only one who won his re-election back out of all the AD governors, and how he was able to build a political machinery to help remove the former government of Jonathan Goodluck. That's where the story ends.
Storyline. Okay. So I mean, when it was shot last year?
It was shot last year between January and February.
Oh, nice, nice. And would you say that what are some of the highlights of the lessons that can be learned from this biopic? Because it's not every day people do biopics, you know. So what are some of the things that can be learned from the biopic? Yeah,
it's not every day people do biopic, but this is the third that we are doing.
Okay.
We actually did one on Yaya Bello,
Okay.
and we did one on late Adedibu.
Okay.
You understand? Incidentally, the one on Adedibu is not out yet. But what are the lessons to be learned? One of the lessons to be learned from the story of Asiwaju Tinubu, for me, is the fact that you have to be consistent in your belief and in what you do. If you look around today, most of the other politicians that we have changed parties. They've also, at their downtime politically, they quickly move to a place where he has stayed in one place. He has you might not agree with him on most things, but one thing you cannot take away from him is the fact that when he wants to do something or he wants to get something done, he pushes to the end to get it done. And so that's it's a big lesson, especially for our young people now who do not like to see things through, who just want things to happen very fast.
Okay.
All right, so generally you've done, as a filmmaker, is your focus majorly on biopics, or have you done feature films and other short films and other things related? Yeah,
we've done feature films. I've done about 4 or 5 Yoruba movies. We've done an English movie called Lockdown. It was about it's a story of what happened during
the lockdown.
It was inspired with the COVID-19 thing. It stars Mary Lazarus and Ife Iwara and Debo Macaroni, to mention a few. But sometime about 2 years ago, we wanted to start doing projects to document people, because if you look around us here, we don't do that. If you have a 10-year-old nephew or niece who is interested in football, ask him about Rashidi Yekini. You'll be shocked that he doesn't know Rashidi Yekini.
Yes.
If you know a 10, 15-year-old who is interested in politics, ask him about Adedibu, ask him about Saraki, ask him about Aminu Kano. you'll be shocked that they don't know. So we decided to try to do it. It's a difficult terrain to be here because of the fact that we love the what sells easily here is the feel-good kind of movie that people can easily relate with. But we did Yaya the White Lion, and it was well received. We did Adedibu. It is not yet out, but we are already getting some. We've pushed it to some networks, and we're already getting some opportunity for streaming deals. And the film festivals that we've pushed it in, we are getting very good responses. So we feel that this is important because apart from making money, I also want to be remembered for trying to
leave a legacy,
make impact in certain part, and this is one of the part because you know that for a long time history was removed from
curriculums.
You understand? And I think it is affecting us because when you talk to a lot of people, the last election was a lesson for us. When you talk to a lot of people who are supporting certain people and you ask them why they are supporting, you'll be shocked because they don't even know the history of what has happened in Nigeria. They don't know how things work. You understand? They just follow and if we are not careful, we might be building a country of very, very ignorant people who do not know their history.
Okay. I know that for the enormity of a project like this, it involves a lot of finances. I mean, for people who also want to do things like this, like you said, the norm is to do commercially viable projects. How can someone who wants to do something like this, knowing fully well that it's not beans and the pains or the gains may not come immediately, what kind of advice do you have for them from the financial aspects?
Two things. What I always tell people is, not even only this, when those of us who are in the entertainment industry, everything that you want to do, no matter how nice the idea is, what I always ask people is, where is the money?
Where's the money? Where will you get the money from?
No, what I mean is that if you are going to put money
involved in this?
Where is the end? It might, even if it's going to take long for the money to come.
Okay.
But where are you thinking of where the money is? And I always tell people, every project, almost every project, has one place where the money is. You just have to think right of where the money is going to come from. And I'll give you a very good example. When we wanted to do Last Man Standing, I approached quite a lot of people to come and partner with us. Quite a lot of people ran away from the project because at that time, they didn't know where politics was going to go to and the rest of it. But I was happy that I spoke to two people. One is a traditional ruler, and one is a young businessman, and they saw into my vision. And here we are today. And I remember that one of the people that I spoke to come and partner with us, when the first teaser came out and he saw it, he called me and said, is it still possible to invest in the...
Wow.
You understand? So the first thing which you have said is that it is difficult getting financing, and I agree. But also, is any project viable? I believe that every project is viable. Today we want to do the premiere, and because of what has happened to the man, everybody wants to be involved with the premiere, one way or the other. You understand? So if this time last year it was difficult getting financing, and this time this year we are getting different calls of, okay, why don't you come and do private screening for us, or why don't you let's do it this way, why don't you let us do that way? It shows that every project has its prospect, and that's why it is called showbiz. There must be the show and there must be the business.
Going into the project, you talked about financing. I know that production sometimes can have a heavy toll. So give us a little bit of insights. How were you able to secure some of the interviews? Because I imagine that you're going to get comments from different people that probably might have worked with him or that has grown under him. So how are you able to, did you travel? How were you able to get resource people together to do some of these things?
Okay, now, this was what we did. When we decided that we were going to do the project, and when finally the financing came, what we did was to build a team of people. We built journalists, we got an historian,
Okay.
Oh,
we got
documentation, researcher.
a writer. You understand? So we came together for a week. The first thing was to come together for a weekend, look at the scope of where the film was going to be, and then after we did that, we got a lot of books about the scope of what the movie is about, which was his tenure as governor.
Okay.
People who worked with him have done book. Then I think when he was 60, all the people that worked with him did a book where they wrote about their activities as working with him.
Okay.
Then we spent some time with his chief of staff who worked closely with him, who also gave us a lot of insight. Finding materials on him was quite very easy. And then when we finished that and we did the casting and we got Latif to agree to play the lead, Latif did a lot of research by taking time to watch a lot of his video, how he speaks during, how he makes his speeches and the rest of it. And
it's a lot of work.
It was a lot of work, but it was worth it.
Nice. I think that in my head, I'm thinking very soon, probably we also be documenting biopics of maybe Obasanjo and other amazing Nigerians too.
I pray, but presently we are working on I'm not permitted to. We have the details to mention it, but we're working on a top man of God who is going to be 70 next year.
So we're moving from politics to religion.
You understand? Top man of God, one of the most respected.
I think we know who it is. That's nice.
70 next year, and we've already signed agreements and everything. And someone is, as I talk to you, someone is in his village, talking to people who grew up with him and the rest of it. You understand? Obasanjo will be a fantastic.
I just thought of it.
Because I see that a lot of people, other people are even now doing
biopics.
Things that I think that there is something on IBB that came even before us. We even did anything. It was done by Obi Emeloye. Fantastic movie. It's called Badamos. It's on Amazon. I think Bolade Civitas just did something on Fumilayo or Ransom Kuti.
Yes.
You understand? So and those are the kind of things that I think that we should encourage so that our young people can learn from how these things happen.
Yes, and I think what we used to have before were books, and that's what you read a lot of books about guides back then, but now we're having visual form.
Unfortunately,
people don't read anymore.
People don't read anymore. So I think that using movies to tell the stories is helping. And you know, even of events that happen, I watched The Trade, I think 1 month ago. Fantastic movie telling us about how Evans dealt with us as a kidnapper. It was the story was well documented. So what it means is that years back, in 10, 15 years back, what Jade Oshiberu did with the movie, someone can look at the movie and okay, 15, 20 years ago, this man dealt with us here, and thank God for the IRT who came to our, in that, you know, a lot of films here, we see our police being shown as corrupt and this and this.
But go and watch that movie. Heroes now.
It's a different
perception. I mean, the police were the heroes who went after Evans and got him. So when people see that movie, it's sort of good for all of us.
I think that, you know, it's good that someone is taking the initiative to do something that is going to teach us lessons on leadership. But we need to take a break. And when we come back, we'll still talk a bit more about this and lots of other things. And then we're still giving out our vouchers and our questions. So please don't go anywhere. We will be right back.